More than just a green space, the Botanic Gardens played a key role in Singapore's nation building, said Dr. Nigel Taylor, director of the Singapore Botanic Gardens, and that's why it deserves to be a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
As Singapore manoeuvred towards being an independent state, it was actually the site where former Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew gathered together the population to achieve racial integration and develop a new national culture. And I think in many ways the gardens parallels the development of Singapore as an island city-state.
Last December, Singapore initiated a campaign for the 154-year-old Botanic Gardens to be listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It currently sits on UNESCO's tentative list.
I think the outstanding universal values that the Singapore Botanic Gardens displays include its 19th century English-style landscape, yet 1 degree from the equator, not in the temperate regions, which is very well preserved.
This is Swan Lake, one of the oldest spots in the Botanic Gardens. Since the gardens was founded in 1859, it has expanded, but most of it remains the same.
Swan Lake is the earliest ornamental water body in Singapore. I don't think really that's been recognised before, and actually this highlights the importance of the World Heritage process, because it creates awareness of the historical importance of things.
Other botanic gardens on UNESCO's list are London's Royal Botanic Gardens and Padua, Italy's Orto Botanico, the world's first and oldest medicinal garden created in 1545. Both are gardens in a temperate region.
The other 2 botanic gardens that have been inscribed to date as UNESCO World Heritage Sites are very different to the Singapore Botanic Gardens. The first is a very early garden, one of the earliest in fact, from the 16th century, and has a very small scale and is really just about medicinal plants. Whereas the second garden, the Royal Botanic Gardens Kew, another garden in the temperate region, is like the hub of colonial botanic gardens. But not an example of a colonial botanic garden in itself. So Singapore is probably the world's best preserved colonial botanic garden, and it's still true to its original purpose, and that's a very important thing for UNESCO.
If successful, Singapore will be the first tropical colonial botanic gardens listed as a World Heritage Site, but the process can take a long time.
It could take as little as 3 years, but it may take considerably longer. Once our documents have been submitted, UNESCO will arrange for an inspection of the site by an historic gardens expert. So there may be a period of interchange between ourselves and UNESCO before a decision is made, either for or against.
The earliest date for the Singapore Botanic Gardens to be inscribed on UNESCO's World Heritage Site list is June 2015. While it might take multiple tries to get the nomination approved, Dr. Taylor is optimistic about Singapore's chances.
I've been through this process before, and I have some idea of what is required. And I think if we make a thorough effort at completing all the elements of the submission that we know we must have, we stand a reasonably good chance.
UNESCO World Heritage Sites are cultural or natural sites with outstanding value and significance. There are 962 in the world, such as Angkor Wat in Cambodia, the Great Wall of China and the city of Malacca in Malaysia.